this is Tank. Tank is 10 years old. Tank has a slight problem getting on the bed. So we're going to build some steps. So the old man here, old man here can get up on the bed. A little easier. So he doesn't have to use my couch. Isn't that right, bud? All right, we're going to make him some steps.
First we'll start with some reclaimed 2x8s, and we'll start making our legs. We'll just cut the ends off the sides here. Next we'll make the dowels to hold them together. Cut off. This next step is a pretty difficult one. I realize I'm standing in front of it. Basically, you want to take your two pieces of wood that you're going to be matching up, and you want to draw a line across all of them so that they can keep matched up. Next, you're going to use a dowel jig to cut the dowels into the wood. Using this jig, I was able to use a hand drill, but it's really better to do it with a drill press. It's also difficult to get everything to line up when you're moving the jig around, and I found out with this jig it was royal pain. If anybody knows a good jig out there that you can use for using dowels, let me know. The one from Lowe's, not so great. Now we just want to tap these dowels in with a rubber mallet. Tap, 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 tap. And let's see if it lines up, shall we? Everything's looking pretty good. Yeah, that's my finger. Luckily, it wasn't too bad. Tap, 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 tap. See if it goes in. And crap. Put it on the wrong side, people. Whenever you're putting these things together, make sure you got the dowels cut on the right side of the wood. And it's turned around the right way. That always helps. Now it is time for the glue up. Our favorite thing to do here in Bud's builds is to put glue on things, rub them with our fingers, and then stick them together. That sounded way worse in my head. We are going to apply the liberal amount of wood glue to the second leg, and then we're going to rub it down with our fingers, put some on the dowel rods, and then some glue inside the dowel holes on the other side and stick them together. once we got them together and lined up, we're going to take our bussy clamps and we're going to clamp both of these pieces together and then let the glue dry overnight, just simply because of the fact that it was going to be a long day, and we just wanted to do it that way. We did clamp up both of them, and they sat over in the corner while we worked on other projects. Make sure that when you're clamping, the glue does come out. That shows that you got a really good seal between the wood. And we went ahead and just did 2 sides, and then wipe the glue off as soon as you can. The longer that wood sits there, the less likely it is to take a stain. And I don't care if it's Tri-Bond, I don't care if it's Elmer's. They'll say, oh, it'll take a stain. Yeah, it's a light little stain, and you'll see really dark, and then around where the wood glue is, it's really light. Now in this part, what we're doing is we're taking some 80 grit sandpaper on our our belt sander, and we're going to take the belt sander and get rid of all that old worn wear from the treated 2x8s. Also remember, when doing this, it's better to do it with the grain instead of against the grain like I'm currently doing. The reason for this is if you do it with the grain, everything looks nice and smooth, and when you go back with your other sand, your 220 grit or whatever to make it smooth, you don't have all these cuts and stuff from where you gouged it going against the grain. So just remember that. Always go with the grain when using a belt sander on certain projects, unless you like all those extra cuts and stuff. I think it made the wood look weathered when I went to stain it. Now it's time to cut our step parts. We've got the legs ready and they're together and glued up. Now we're going to cut go ahead and cut the steps. Basically, again, we're just taking the same 2x8 and cutting the edges off, and then we'll sand the wood down like we did before. And yes, before you ask, I do have to go that slow, because if I don't, my saw will bind and it'll blow my 15 amp that I have for my garage. Whoever built this house and put in a 15 amp for your garage did not expect anybody to do any serious woodworking in this thing.